So good morning. We're going to get started. If everyone will please silence your phones. I'm going to ask Commissioner Hope to lead us in the invocation and Commissioner Gerald with the pledge. Please stand.
Heavenly Father, we come to you just thankful for the safety and the love that you continue to give us, and just ask that you guide us in a way that honors you. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll officially call our regular April meeting to order. Roll call. All commissioners are currently present except for Commissioner Lotson. I'm sure he is en route. I'll call for approval of the agenda before us.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gerald to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Hope. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to approval of the minutes. There are 4 sets of minutes. The regular meeting, 2 special called meetings, and the planning retreat. We can do those individually or collectively. It's the favor of the board. We'll call for approval of said minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve all the minutes at one time.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Poole to approve all 4 sets. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gerald. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to visitor presentations this morning, we have one from McSeed, which is the McIntosh Sustainable Environmental and Economic Development Group. Mr. John Littles is here with us this morning. Mr. Littles.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is John Littles. My colleague Cheryl Peterson. I'm the director of a nonprofit here in McIntosh County. We've been in existence for about 30 years in the community. Been serving the community for at least those 30 years through education, youth development, economic development, a whole host of array of things that we've done in the community, food giveaways, financial assistance, a lot around scholarships. We've done a lot of partnerships with the school districts through after-school programs and other programs that have existed. Any partnership that we've done, even with the county, city, a lot of development around housing with the city as well in the past. And we've done drug awareness as well several times. Probably been a little while ago, we just found out about this opportunity, and it was presented to us, as a nonprofit, but also as being a part of the community and outreach in the community, that would be able to serve the community around that. But again, that's who we are as a nonprofit, what we do here in the local community, and Cheryl will tell you more about the program itself.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you all for the opportunity to present our community-wide drug initiative this morning. As John said, McIntosh Seed has been in existence since 1998, and I'm sure all of you are familiar with McIntosh Seed, and it stands for Sustainable Environment and Economic Development, but we do base our work on empowerment, education, and economic development. I've been in the community since 2004. I was a principal at Ty Grant Elementary and at McIntosh County Middle. And when I left the school district, I went to work with John at McIntosh Seed. That's where we formed our partnership, and it was a school and community-based organization partnership that worked out tremendously well. And the activities that were done in the community, again, were in conjunction with the school system, and it was community-wide. And so that's one of the features about the program that I really like, is that we engage the entire community. So what we're presenting this morning is an initiative to create a community-wide drug program that involves everyone from elementary age children up to adults. And we propose to do that through educational workshops, bringing in guest speakers, bringing in motivational speakers. As John said, we've done this program in the past, and we brought in motivational speakers to talk to the children. We have great partnerships in our network, and we feel that it would be beneficial for us to launch this as a community-wide effort, and we think that we can create this as a model that can be replicated even in other communities if we design this correctly. And so this involves a partnership not only with McIntosh, but with existing organizations, with local law enforcement, which we've done in the past, and this is a great opportunity for us to really engage the community around awareness of the impacts of drugs in our community, not only drug usage, but also talking about the abuse, the treatment, prevention, and so we want to launch a full prevention program. So we're proposing to do educational workshops, educational seminars. We want to kick back up our back to school rally and having materials be available for children, for their parents, just to make them aware of all the issues around drug usage. I know that in my conversations with educators, we're talking about the seriousness of children vaping, and so we think that this is a great opportunity to be proactive in addressing that and to make parents aware of just how dangerous it is. We're talking about doing signature community-wide events where everyone would be engaged and be all-inclusive, providing printed material for outreach and engagement, and again, partnering with SAD, which is students who are making, taking a stand against destructive decisions, because that's really where it's going to start, is in their decision making. And so if they're not getting that decision making or being guided in their decision making, we think that this is a great opportunity for us to do that. So again, being proactive versus reactive. And we feel that if we can do this on the front end, that will help to decrease and decline some of the issues that are impacting not only our children, but also impacting our community. So what we're proposing is a community-wide initiative that is going to be proactive in addressing the issues that are impacting this community with drug use, drug abuse. And so that's what we are presenting this morning for your consideration. Any questions?
I have one question. So in today's environment, do you all do any drug awareness? And when was the last time you had done this? Is this a brand new program? Because I looked on your website, I couldn't really find it.
So this would be a new program for us, I guess, not new, but we are reinventing that program because we have in the past had to make a pivot. And so we haven't done as much in drug awareness or drug prevention in the last several years. Our work has really gone not only beyond the community, but also working with other communities on issues. So we haven't gotten away from education. So we are still grounded in educating adults, educating communities. It may not specifically be just on drugs, but we are in the business of educating.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? Thank you, Ms. Peterson.
Okay, thank you.
Moving forward on our printed agenda, we have no public hearings this morning and no old business. That will move us directly into new business. Item number 1 of new business is to consider Resolution 2026-6 of the Board of Commissioners approving and authorizing the execution by the county manager of all documents pertaining to the Homeland Security Grant. I'll allow the county manager to add staff notes.
Yes, a while back we applied for this Homeland Security Grant. There were a few delays given issues with the government shutdown. It's for $466,000. In your packet, there's a breakdown on this information. There'll be a $160,000 body scanner for the jail. It's type you go through the airports, that type of scanner. There's also money in there for mobile fingerprint scanners that would help our deputies out on the interstate with ICE-type interdictions or undocumented aliens, illegal aliens. There's also, and this is the part we were really hoping we would get approved, is there's money in there for an additional 50 of the smaller Model 200 Motorola radios. Now that we're back up to our P25 system, these would help us tremendously. Ask you to go ahead and your approval, allow me to sign the documents. There may be a little bit of money left over in this grant because the radios might be secured cheaper, in which case we'll go back and amend it and ask for additional radios with that money, or possibly even that Zetron phone system at the 911 center we talked about a few months back. So that concludes my remarks.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the commission at this time? Hearing none, I'll call for action on item number 1.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-6, Board of Commissioners, McIntosh County approving and authorizing the execution of the county manager for all documents pertaining to the Homeland Security Grant currently awarded, grant number 27.
Okay. Motion to approve by Commissioner Poole. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hope. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 2 of the printed agenda before us is to consider the appointment to the McIntosh County Recreation Board. This is an action item. I will call for action on item number 2.
I think we'd like to go back and put Bethany Chapman.
Okay.
What's that number?
Motion by Commissioner Hope to appoint Bethany Chapman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lotson. Any discussion at this time? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 3 is to consider an intergovernmental agreement with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, Coastal Resources Division for the operation and maintenance of the James Allen Williamson Park, also known as the Champney River Boat Ramp. I'll allow the county manager to add staff notes.
In your packet, you'll find some aerial photographs of the completed project. This is a $2 million project that the DNR did with GOSA grants. They've elevated the parking lot, which was prone to flooding. They've redone the boat ramp. They've added additional service dock. They're getting the well up and running again. And typically, the DNR would like the counties to have responsibility for the day-to-day operation and maintenance of these type sites. It allows us to actually post some ordinances, and since we will be in the area, our deputies could then write citations on those ordinances. It's mainly to kind of curb commercial activities like some of the logging that was going on out there with the heavy equipment, or even overnight camping. So this would be a nice addition to our Parks Department, and I'd recommend that we consider entering into this intergovernmental agreement with the State of Georgia Coastal Resource Division.
Any questions or comments at this time from the commission?
Yeah, you talked about the logging that was going on and curbing commercial activity. Is that gonna, I know the crabbers and stuff like that, we're using that also.
No, that's okay.
So we're gonna break it up as to what commercial activity is allowable?
The bringing in the heavy equipment, now that it's newly repaved, we wouldn't want them coming in and tearing up the. When I was over at the DNR and we did a boat ramp, and somebody wanted to say launch a houseboat or something like that, you didn't want them doing that during the busy hours, like on Fridays or whatnot, so we would normally have them ask for permission, and then they do that on a Monday or Tuesday when it wasn't as crowded. So it just gives us a little bit of flexibility in the oversight of it. Our Public Works Department would do the maintaining. Like I said, if you look in your packet, there's some nice photographs, but there's some things that the county could do with maybe some beautification with some vegetation and trees out there as well. If there's a problem with the well, we would handle that. However, if there's a major repair to this site, like say a hurricane or a large vessel, barge or something were to hit the service docks, that would be on the Department of Natural Resources to replace that and absorb those costs.
You mentioned the well, getting the well fixed. Does that mean that there may be potentially down the road, the bathrooms put back in?
Their funding ran out to actually build cinder block bathrooms. We could probably put a couple of portalettes out there. That's a much better way of doing it, in my opinion. And then again, the well is for washing down your boat hull when you pull it out of the water there.
May I add?
Yes.
So Henderson, we, discussing this with DNR, I don't think the agreement was to forbid commercial activity by any remote stretch. I think it's really to formalize it. And I'll take the lead on that, especially with the loggers. You know, moving in and out there is one thing, leaving their equipment, especially when they tie it up in the marsh or leaving heavy equipment out in the parking lot, that's what they want to curtail. Just so that it doesn't tear it up and, you know, create all kinds of problems.
Originally, this was in agreement with the city, and after the Houston house burnt down, they're breaking up the dairy barn where the city still wants to keep that, and that's that other site. And then they feel we'd be better off with our Parks Department maintaining that site.
Any additional questions, comments, or concerns at this time from the commission? Hearing none, I'll call for action on item number 3.
I'll make a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement with Georgia Department of Natural Resources, CRD, and operations and maintenance of the James Allen Williamson Park AKA Champney River Boat Ramp.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Poole. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hope. Any additional discussion at this time? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 4 is to consider a request from Sheriff Thornell King for $5,000 out of the drug fund for the CHAMPS program, which is a 12-week course for 5th graders at Todd Grant Elementary. This is identifying hazardous results from illegal drug use and the detrimental effects. I'll allow the staff to add any additional staff notes.
This has been a successful program that they do yearly. Currently, there's $56,000 in our drug fund. We have obligated 25 of those for a previous request from, I think, the Boys and Girls Club. Again, this has been a successful program, and I think we should approve this.
Okay. Any questions, comments from the commission? Hearing none, I'll call for action on item number 4.
Make the motion we approve Sheriff King's request for $5,000 for the CHAMP program.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Watson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gerald. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 5 is to consider a $25,000 financial assistance request from the McIntosh Sustainable Environmental and Economic Development McSeed Group for the Drug-Free Community Initiative funds to come from the McIntosh County Drug Abuse Treatment and Education Fund. This is an action item. I'll allow the county manager to add staff notes.
As I mentioned a moment ago, the drug fund currently has $56,000 in it. We add about $1,000 a month to that fund. We already are obligated now with the CHAMPS grant for about $30,000 coming out of that fund. These type grants are reimbursable, so they'll have to do the work and then request to be reimbursed. And again, you've heard their presentation, and I'll leave that to you all to decide.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the commission at this time?
I'd like to ask, as we look at the request for monies coming in, if there's a way that we could sort of formalize the individual avenues and, more importantly, the education opportunities to see exactly who all is out there, Boys and Girls Club, all the way past, and take a review to make sure we're not crossing over in certain lanes. Is that something that staff could do prior to making a decision on this vote?
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of requests for this opioid money since we're party to about 4 or 5 of those settlement agreements, and sometimes the opioid money might be more appropriate to use than the drug fund. But we can work with you however you want on this.
I would ask and recommend that we table this to take a hard look at this and make sure that we're going down the right path as we continue to get these requests.
Can you explain yourself again? I missed part of your explanation.
We've got individual requests coming in, it seems like on a meeting basis. And I'd like to take a look, have staff take a look at where the monies go, what they're being used for, and make sure there's no crossover. If there is crossover, at least define it, and then also identify which funds it comes from before we dole out all the money, so to speak.
There's 2 essentially drug funds. There's the drug fund from your ticket and citation fines and forfeitures, and then there's also currently the opioid, the national class action drug fund. So there's 2 drug funds currently.
It just seems like we have different education opportunities, and I want to see if there's any crossover. I think it's important I think there's a wide range of opportunities for us to educate, as long as we're not, moving into the same exact location each time and overwhelming the resources or the education opportunities. Just a review to make sure the money's there and make sure we have
Is there a concern that there's not enough funds?
With the $25,000 grant we've issued, and now the $5,000, there's 30, so this 25 would leave $1,000 left.
And I understand that. And I also understand there's 2 sets of pockets of money.
The other funding that some of these type programs could come out of would be the opioid funding. And there's actually more money in the opioid funding than there is in the drug fund.
Will this program qualify under the opioid?
Add,
It's all according to the use as opposed to the group qualifying as there's a major issue about use, we'd have to look at it. I don't see why it wouldn't for certain uses.
Okay. So if the question is, which part of money to use, I'm okay with that. If the question is whether or not this qualifies, and I do understand your concern about overlapping. I know I have some knowledge of McSeed, and they serve a different clientele than the other group serves. So there would not be a crossover in that regard. The other pot of money, what's the expiration date of that? Is that like an annual thing?
No, sir, it's literally an at-will pot that we have to meet strict, there's a guide, and I'll get you a copy of it.
And I'm referring to the county manager indicated that there was like $26,000 left in one pot of money. Is that
Yeah,
right?
there's 56,000 currently as of yesterday in the drug fund. 25, I think, is going to the Boys and Girls. 5 will go to the CHAMPS program. An additional 25 would leave just $1,000 in there, and it only grows by about $1,000 a month. So I don't know if it's an issue of timing but again, this is a reimbursable grant, so they would have to do the work first and then come back later on. But
And I guess my question is, with that remaining 26,000, if my math is correct, we have until what period of time to expend that amount of money?
there's no deadline on that. And as I said, if we approve this, it's a reimbursable grant. By that time, an additional $1,000 a month for, say, the next 12 months would build it back up. So it's just a question of, we have a lot more money, I think, in the opioid fund than we do in the drug fund.
So how are these funds renewed?
Ed, you want to say how the drug fund money is achieved?
The opioid funds are a result of massive settlements that have taken place across the nation, and we get a relatively small part of that. Now, keep in mind, there's also a statewide grant program that the Attorney General, I think, oversees that is available for programming as well. But this is a very small part of the various settlements through the retailers, the drugstores, and that type thing. We get a small portion of that, and that's where the opioid funds come from. The drug fund itself, the drug education fund, is a product of the Georgia legislature, which assigned a certain portion of every drug offense fine to this fund. And it replenishes itself pretty regularly. It's not a giant fund by any means, like John said. Nowadays, it looks like it's replenishing at about $1,000 a month. So you can figure that you'd have, if it continues to generate at the same rate that it's currently generating at, you'd have around $12,000 a year to award.
So do we have to specify which fund this comes from if we approve
Oh,
this?
yeah.
I believe the request was from the
Okay.
drug fund.
And we'd have to make sure, we'd have to screen each applicant and confirm that the uses, I haven't looked at their application, so I'm just pulling this out of the hat, but we'd have to make sure that each use complied with the provisions of each different type of grant program.
Okay.
But their application does comply with what?
As far as I know, yes, I'm told it complies with the grant program. Specifically, that is for drug education. That's what that pot of money's for. The opioid is much more geared to dealing with the effects of the opioid crisis, Narcan purchasing, that kind of thing. Expanding medical services to victims, that kind of thing.
I know these guys do a remarkable job for our community, so I really don't think we need to hold them up. And if it is a reimbursable thing, so it's not like they get the money automatically right off the bat, so.
And I might point out, the one thing that we've not been really good at in the past is following up after the grant program to confirm that the work, and I'm not just talking about them, they haven't applied for one as far as I know in years. But we need to follow up and make sure these programs are completing, these kids are graduating or receiving some type of certificate, and what happens afterwards. Is this program actually having an impact on our community? We're not good about following up, and we need to do a better job of that.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, next year when they come, anyone that comes to apply, we need a presentation of what you did in the past year, and same thing, I mean, obviously they gotta provide details for Absolute to get their
Agreed.
money, but somebody.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any additional questions, concerns, or comments? Okay, call for action on item number 5.
Make a recommendation that we approve Maxi's request for $25,000 for drug education.
Okay, motion to approve by Commissioner Watson. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Hope. Any additional discussion at this time? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 6 is to consider authorizing the county manager to make an emergency purchase of new replacement lowboy trailer. This is in the amount of $76,275 to be used by the county's road department. I'll allow the county manager to add staff notes.
Yes, we originally were going to buy a replacement trailer for our excavator. Last year, it was carried over, and we have the money in the budget. There's $115,000. We're paying the last $45,000 on the sidearm mower lease-to-own purchase. The $75,000, there's enough money to do that. They were transporting the excavator the other day, and the neck broke. Now, one side of the neck had already been welded, and then the other side, so I would not use that trailer, even if we do a repair to it, for anything heavy like our excavator. So I asked them to get 3 bids, and normally I would probably put this out in a procurement site, but we have no way of moving our equipment around the county right now. And so that's why I'm bringing it to you all to go ahead and get approval to go ahead and purchase one of the 3 that we had recommended in there.
Any additional questions, comments, or concerns from the commission at this time?
What's your intent with the damaged one?
The damaged one, like I said, has a plate welded on one side. They could possibly do that on the other side, and then just limit it to the small mini excavator, which is significantly lighter than but I would not put any heavy equipment on that trailer again
So we can use the other for limited use.
for limited use.
Okay. All right.
Any additional questions, comments? Hearing none, I'll call for action on item number 6.
Make a motion to approve authorizing the county manager to make an emergency purchase of a new lowboy trailer in the amount of $76,275 to be used by county's road department.
Okay, motion to approve by Commissioner Poole. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Watson. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That concludes our new business on our printed agenda, which will move us into commissioner reports. Commissioner Hope, let's begin with you.
No report at this time.
Okay, Commissioner Watson?
Yes, I'd like to invite everyone to the Blessing of the Fleet service, which will be Wednesday at 6:30 at the Shelman Love Baptist Church. It's 6:30 on tomorrow. That concludes my report.
Commissioner Gerald?
No report.
Commissioner Poole?
No report.
No chairman's report. Come out to the Blessing this weekend. County manager's report.
I've recently updated you on a lot of the projects that are ongoing, so I'll try to be brief here. The Champney boat ramp, which I refer to, is actually the James Allen Williamson ramp. We'll try to get a sign back up out there. I don't think it's been there in a while. But there will be a ribbon cutting by the DNR on May 1st. I believe it's at 2 p.m. We're sending the road department out to do mosquito spraying around the Blessing of the area leading up to the event. I'm going to be bringing to y'all at next commissioners meeting a resolution honoring Judge Bob L. Russell III. I'd like to do some type of plaque over at the historic courtroom for him. I just wanted to give you the heads up on that. Also worked with Judge Bolin on some improvements to the law library. When I got here in 2017, they were beginning to renovate the courthouse and a lot of improvements, and this is one of the last things she'd like to have done, Judge Bolin would like to have done before she retires. I'm still waiting on EPD's approval for the water lines out at Barrington, going from the 2-inch to the 3-inch line gasketed system. I'm supposed to have some information today on that, and once we have the approval, I'm taking 3 or 4 days to change those lines out, and then we'll be able to start charging for the campsites. Also, we have an employee appreciation lunch coming up on May 8th over at the Lions Club gym, and that'll begin at noon. That concludes my remarks.
Okay. County Attorney's report.
Yes, ma'am. I have no need for a report, but I do have a need for a 5-minute executive session to discuss a legal issue that has just arisen.
Okay?
I do anticipate a very brief action afterwards in case anyone wonders.
Okay. So at the county attorney's announcement, we will need to enter into executive session. Do I have a motion to enter?
Make a motion to enter executive session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, at this time, I'll take a motion to exit executive session.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Gerald. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, at this time, we need to take action on a legal item as it pertains to extending the moratorium for Sapelo. I'll allow the county attorney to add staff notes.
Okay, guys, what we got going is as we discussed in executive session, we have a moratorium that will expire on May 21st. We have completed the series of 3 listening sessions, and I think we're ready to come up with some type of draft at the next county commission meeting to send to the zoning board for consideration as a hog hammock document, a hog hammock zoning ordinance. Having said that, the first thing we have to do is we have to extend this moratorium so we can hold things down on Sapelo, keep from building and having land disturbing permits and all that kind of thing. No more subdivisions until we get this thing settled. And it needs to be extended one more time. I think this is the last time. I think by the end of the summer, we can have a ordinance in place. So that's what I'm asking you to do today, is to extend that moratorium for one additional 90-day period. And the public notice is already prepared and will be forwarded into the Dairy News if you approve it today. We need a motion and a second.
Any questions, comments for staff at this time from the commission? Hearing none, we'll call for action.
I'll make a motion to publish the notice for upcoming public hearing on the extending the moratorium for Sapelo.
Motion by Commissioner Gerald. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hope. Any additional discussion at this time? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. With nothing else printed on our agenda, we stand adjourned.
Aye.